Bonjour mes amis, je m'appelle Jim and welcome to another, I'll stop there. I'll not do my French any more than that there. That was me tapped out. Bonjour mes amis, je m'appelle Jim. There you go. That's what I got from 3 years maybe of schooling in French. There you go. Welcome to review number 232 and we're in La France. Looking at Armorik from Brittany there. Hey Brittany. So this one I was turned on to during a live stream I did once again. I mentioned a couple of reviews back with our good friend Roy Duff, and this was a blind challenge once again. And I remember when trying this, I thought, so this was the Six Nations. So there was the Six Nations of rugby. So, Scotland, England, Wales, Ireland, France, Italy. And I tried this and I would have swore all day long. And I don't want to take this away from Armorik, that this was the Scotch whiskey. So, and we'll get into that further as we go along. So this one, ex-bourbon, ex-sherry. Armorik has been around as a distillery, we'll say loosely, we'll use the term loosely as a distillery because it's been in one form or another for many, many years, but it was around the end of the late 90s that it became a proper whiskey distillery, shall we say. And this one around 46%, non-chill filter, no colour added, 50 to 60 pounds mark, and accessible. That's something I'm going to add in there, and I'm going to add that in for a reason, and you'll hear that reason as we move along. So let's get in. Earthy. I'm going to suggest dirty and well balanced. There's a bit of a wee funk about it there. Soft, overripe fruit. Chewy, soft apricot and or orange. There are light wafts of honey and barley sugar. Now, this is one of these ones that when it shows up, because it can be a bit tight, I'm going to say. It can be a bit tight for a while, this one. But when it opens up, when it shows up, you could dwell in the nose forever. It's got one of those noses. It's everything soft and well balanced. And well placed even. There are even some slight creamy lactic notes. But they just add to the experience. Sometimes I know whenever you say lactic notes, a lot of people get turned off, but to me, it's more a creaminess more so than a full-on lactic thing, but it's just there in the background. There's something a wee bit sharper, but it's lovely, lovely. Into the palate then. Creamy, round, sweet, sour, and I don't get to say it often enough, umami. Very much so. There's a weird, actually, it's and when I say umami in this, it's actually like that creamy texture you get off a good fried beef or steak. Yeah, very much so. The lactic note is in the palate once again, but once again, it's about a sensation rather than a more so even than a flavour. Those softer apricot and orange notes are there again. That slightly overripe fruit. Round, creamy, chocolatey, soft. This is a meal of a whiskey. You've had your main course and almost your dessert in this one. And the finish just plays out goes slightly dry after a while, but only slightly. But it just plays out with memories of those softer fruits and chocolate. Lovely. Lovely. Bon. I'm trying to, well, let me see. There's not really a lot on the, I was reading the label there while I was going along just to see, letting the water settle and see if they said anything, but no, not really. Just about the ex-bourbon casks, ex-sherry casks, etc. So adding water doesn't change this an awful lot. It just softens the experience a bit, which, you know, no bad thing there. Maybe a little more lactic, maybe a little more barley sugar. Maybe those softer apricot notes show up a little more again, you know. So it's just, it's more about the softening of the experience, I would suggest, the addition of water. Soft, fruity, gentle, so easy to drink. That's what's good about this. And once again, I do not want to take it away from Armorik. I really don't. This just reminds me of a really good Scotch whiskey. Or there's many a good Scotch whiskey reminds me of a good Armorik there. How does that sound? Because this is a good old-fashioned style of whiskey. You can taste, I said about barley sugar earlier, you can taste that grain in there. You can taste the barley. This is just bloody well made. Really, really well made. Fair play to the people in Armorik there in France. And that was why, you know, sometimes I buy bottles based on a dram. And I would suggest that more often than not, I'm let down by them. Because it doesn't matter how long I stick with that bottle, I just never get that experience again. But this, I enjoyed straight away. And I'm still loving it. So good on them. Good on them. Yes, reminded me of good Scotch whiskey. And what do I mean then by good Scotch whiskey? Do you know what this reminded me of? And this is, to me, this is big praise. This, whenever I had this at first, it reminded me of this Springbank 10-year-old. Now, yes, obviously, there's that hint of peated malt in the Springbank 10, which isn't here. I don't think there's any. If there's peated malt in here, I certainly don't taste it. But all of that fresh fruitiness, all of those gentle apricot orange notes, even slightly tropical notes, it just reminded me of my first experience with the Springbank 10. This is an exciting whiskey. The Armorik 10-year-old. It genuinely is an exciting whiskey. What's exciting about it? Well, it's tasty. It's very tasty. And it's accessible. People are jumping through hoops to try and get their hands on Springbank whiskey. I don't anymore. If I can get a bottle, I get it. If I can't, I'm not that concerned. I drip feed what I have to myself, really. I can pick Armorik up on Amazon. So, and my recommendation to you whiskey enthusiasts out there is buy a bottle and give it a go. So definitely, please do, because it's lovely. Don't get me wrong, Springbank 10 is fantastic. It's just not so accessible. So if you want something that's accessible, I'm going to say easy got. It's certainly easy for me to get. I'm not suggesting it's easy for everybody to get. I would give it a go. It's just a bloody good whiskey. Well made and well done to the people at Armorik. Half expecting somebody to come back and tell me I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I'm going to stick with it. So there you go. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you to the people, as I said, at Armorik. Well done to them. I'll be back next time with something a little different. Until then, as I said, thank you for joining me. Thank you very much to my patrons. Should anybody wish to join that group, the details are in the video description below. And I said I'll be back next time with something a little different, but something a little the same, something a bit recognisable. There, that's all I'm going to say to you, something a bit recognisable. Until I'm back again with you folks, look after yourselves. Here's to your good health. Cheers.
Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.